For over 34 years, people have feared the evil genius Dr. Ivo Robotnik, better known as Dr. Eggman. But where did he come from? Where was he born? And most importantly, how do you crack the code to genius? Now before we begin, why Dr. Eggman? Why talk about one of the most uninteresting concepts for a villain, when we could have interviewed someone more interesting, such as Bowser? Well, that's because almost every early 90s game villain is some kind of evil scientist. Which begs the question, where are all these evil scientists getting their PhDs? And was there a background check prior to enrolling? The thing is that Dr. Eggman happens to be a special case, as he is the only evil doctor to have a 30% success rate to the average 0.01%. Now, due to most records of the Robotnik family being redacted online, we decided the only way to get the true Yoki goodness of lore inside, we would have to go to the source. If my egg puns are too hard to understand, we have secured a special interview with the infamous Dr. Eggman himself. Not only will we be interviewing Eggman himself, but some of his family members as well.
Can I have a glass of water? What do you mean, no?
So welcome, and thank you for not incinerating the crew when they showed up.
It was nothing. All I had to do was not push a button.
And so we begin with Act 1, Eggman's early life. Even as a child, Eggman showed promise through his early childhood ability, known as being a nerd, an ovum, you could say, finishing grade 8 at the age of 7 years old. But it was not smooth sailing for his education adventures, as he was the target of many bullies, including one we have here today, named Chuck McGee.
What was your motive to bully Eggman?
Boy, oh boy, Eggman. I used to bully him because he looked like a bowling ball. I used to call him Nerdy Bowling Ball and roll him down the hall to knock kids over.
What did you think of your old bullies?
Don't even get me started on them. Those f***ing sons of I'm gonna
Okay, now excuse me. I had to fill in for the narrator because he had to go and pick up his Taco Bell order. After overcoming these problems, Eggman then dropped out of college at the age of 13 to pursue robotics, specifically making things to take over the world. Why robots? Did you consider any other options to take over?
I like them so much because they're workers I never have to pay, and they do whatever I want without question. Also, the whole gather an army to take over apparently gets you on the list on the internet.
Once Eggman had perfected his robots, he took to South Island to start his plans, but not before encountering Sonic the Hedgehog, the protector of South Island and his new nemesis for life. Now, how did you meet Sonic?
Well, I went to South Island, an island with supposedly no intelligent life, and the animals there were great power sources due to their exposure to the mystical Chaos Emeralds. I saw some random dude kidnapping some animals and putting them into robots, so I decided to stop him. Then this blue menace shows up and rescues them all. He caused hundreds of dollars in property damage and stole the Chaos Emeralds. I guess there really was no intelligent life. Ha ha ha! It was a breeze. All of his machines were fairly easy to avoid. Just stay in a corner, jump out of the way, avoid this. So easy. I had to scramble to put any kind of defense together. He just ran straight through it.
We heard you have made many robotic versions of Sonic to try and keep up with him.
Well, yes, but I only keep one as my real greatest creation. The others are just kind of there.
Why do you want to take over the world?
Well, it was a combination of things that would take too long to explain. Any other questions?
Because Eggman wouldn't give us a clear-cut answer, we had to turn to his family for answers. So, Sage, right? As Eggman's artificial daughter, could you give us some info?
You are my enemy. I don't give info to the enemy.
Some of them were more difficult to get information from than others.
So, Orbot and Cubot. As Eggman's assistants, could you tell us why Eggman does any of what he does for reasons other than Sonic?
I know why.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Why you? Shadow, can you tell us some old Robotnik family history?
I couldn't give a flying fish about what that PhD tub of Lard's family life was like.
But you are technically his uncle.
He's technically my what? Well, I guess this means I can go beg him for money now. He's family after all.
And that means I'm also his uncle.
Go away, Dad. You're only allowed to see me on weekends.
But you don't have a mom. And you're like 50.
Who says I didn't decide that?
Metal Sonic, as Eggman's greatest creation, can you tell me how Eggman does what he does?
My creator's ways are unknown even to me. He is truly a genius.
And they couldn't give us a single straight answer either.
Okay, I'm back. Let's continue. Anyways, in 1994, Eggman had decided to try to go to the biggest he has ever gone yet, with taking over the mystical Angel Island, a floating island with supposed heavenly origins and humongous readings over power, thanks to the power of the Master Emerald and the Super Emerald.
Ah yes, Angel Island. It was my most successful plan yet. Thanks to Knuckles, I was able to keep that blue skid mark off my scent while I enacted my master plan.
But it was all for naught, as Knuckles, who Eggman had tricked into working with him, had discovered that Eggman betrayed him in an attempt to steal the Master Emerald. Not before Sonic had used his newly discovered super form, using the Emerald's power, and beat him. After this, Eggman had lost his edge. After his own solo attempt at selling beans and other smaller attempts at domination, Eggman has lost his will to conquer.
It was not the proudest period of my life. I just couldn't find the strength to do what I did best anymore.
It seemed that Eggman had hit a low that he just couldn't get out of. That is, until the year 1998, while Eggman was working in a Taco Bell in his hometown. He had created the plan that would bring him back to the top.
In hindsight, using an ancient deity to take over the world was not my best idea.
I think what he just said explains itself. Anyways, just a couple years later in 2001, Eggman had discovered Shadow, the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form created by his grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, and with it, his own family roots.
I wasn't surprised that my grandpappy was a genius, an evil genius at that.
With Eggman back in the game, Eggman had just one last thing in his way: taxes. To avoid his precious robot building money to be sucked away by the government, he created the Eggman Empire, which he listed as a religion when he applied to register the business. His badniks were the disciples, and his bases were the holy ground. This officially qualified the Eggman Empire as a religion.
I'm just gonna say, I don't feel a single most bit of guilt for evading my taxes. IRS be damned! What do you mean I have to legally say that was a joke?
Now with taxes out of his way, he went back to doing what he did best: taking over the world.
After that, I tried everything to beat the Blue Blur. Building robots, using ancient deities, aliens, tampering space and time. Sometimes it wasn't even me doing it.
But how did you bounce back?
We tried a couple things. Turning Sonic into a werewolf, kidnapping a whole race of aliens, even controlling a whole crew of powerful deities. But I found that using a gem of my own creation, the Phantom Ruby, did it. Of course, I only have a replica after it disappeared through time and space. Ironically, I think I remember using the Phantom Ruby before I'd even invented it. Oh well, time travel is complicated. I hope I didn't screw up the timeline that much.
After this defeat, Eggman had been beaten so hard that he lost his own memory, only being restored by another aspiring scientist like him, a platypus scientist named Dr. Starling.
He was great! Came up with the best ideas. Metal viruses, hypno gloves, poisons, boots, spurs. He even know my coffee order better than others.
That was until Dr. Starling had made his own clones of Sonic and Tails to betray him, but not before Starling's untimely end due to a street collapsing on him.
I'll admit it, I did beat the crap out of him before he was squashed. I even threw a wrench in his plan so hard that he was crying like a baby. Ha ha ha! I'll admit, Starling was a nice shake-up from the usual egghead encounter, but he really did put the mad in mad scientist. At least I have standards to my insanity.
And now we have Eggman today.
So, Eggman, have any big plans for the future?
Oh, you know, terrorizing the resistance, pushing out a new update for my robots. And I think I know a plan that will bring Sonic down for good.
Alright then, we have one last thing on our schedule before this interview concludes.
Alright, the reunion.
Oh, hi, Ivo. Oh, who's that?
And that was the guy I hired to kill him.
From baby egghead genius to man baby egghead genius, the life of Ivo Robotnik is a pretty dang interesting one. Now, what have we learned from all this? It takes more than one egg to make an omelet? You have to keep all your eggs in one basket? While all those egg-themed puns would be a great way to end this off, I think the one thing we've learned from this is, while most geniuses are recognized as famous and legends, I think we might find the occasional mad scientist more entertaining from time to time. You know what? No, that lesson sucks. Let's just use the egg pun instead.